Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Precious Molepo, and as promised, here are 6 mistakes that I feel like I made in my first attempt of CTA. So I know it's been a while since I uploaded my first video, and thank you so much to the new 3 subscribers. I'm sitting on 7 subscribers, guys. I am so excited. So road to 10 subscribers. Yeah, celebrate the little things. So it's been a while since I uploaded that first video, and I know I planned to upload like in that week even, but if you're in CTA, I'm sure you understand completely why I've been MIA. So I was just feeling a little, I don't know, burnt out today, so I just thought, you know what, let me just record this. So let's jump into it, guys. So my first mistake that I feel like I made in my first attempt of CTA is thinking that I had time. So I don't know, in my head I just felt like, you know what, I have time, to the point where at the beginning of the year I was sitting and, you know, planning, and that time, like, it had already started. There were already lectures, there was already coursework to be done, and in my head I'm just planning and sitting, okay, yeah, no, this is how I'm going to tackle this. And I did that for a very long time. I think I did it for until like CEs. And I tried to start, but in reality, like, the first lecture is when it starts, like, and you need to start pushing from day one. So I had that mentality for a very long time, like, okay, yeah, so this year in CTA, well, like, I'm gonna kill CTA, so this is the plan of action. That time is going, for like a month or two. I'm thinking and I'm sitting and I'm thinking like that, and then we wrote our CEs. That's our very first test, just so that you can see the level of CTA and just see that you're okay, you're in a new level, and have a taste of it. And even after those results, I still don't think I had actually comprehended that it has started, it has begun, and I need to start working hard. I also feel like I was also in the mentality of, like in the previous year of third year, I have time and I'll recover. If I don't do well in the beginning, there's still so much time to recover, which is what happened in my third year. I mean, the beginning, it was like struggling to get a pass. Then, you know, as time went on, I managed, it was okay. So I think I was also in that same mentality, which was a big mistake. So definitely from day one, start. But then again, if day one has passed, as we're now in May, don't look at it like, okay, now it's too late. Definitely do your coursework that you have now, and then in your free time, try go back to the beginning of the year's coursework and do questions on it. A lot of active learning can save you a lot of time. Do a lot of active learning, and forget about the nitty-gritties and the stuff that just, you know, you're doing it, but you're not learning anything, it's just making you feel good. The second mistake that I feel like I made in my first attempt of CTA was avoiding doing questions. I would rather count sand on a beach than do questions last year. Like, I just wanted to avoid questions because I knew it was super hard, and when I did go to a question, I didn't feel good because I would get everything wrong, or I would really struggle to do it, or, you know, we're in a new level. You know, you were in undergrad, now you're in a postgrad, you're gonna feel it. Especially when you're doing questions, you're gonna feel that you're in a new level. So I definitely avoided that feeling, and I pushed questions out, and I avoided doing questions, and for the longest time. So I'd be like, I'll do my coursework, and then I'd say, okay, no, it's fine, I have time to do questions. I'll do questions like towards when it's the study break period before we write our exams. I'll do questions then, and then when that time came, I didn't have time to do questions, and then I never touched a question, and then I went into the exam. So definitely incorporate doing questions as part of your studying. As much as it's feedback as well, you can also learn from it. You learn exam technique. This is very new. This is a level up, and you don't know how they test it. You don't know what an exam looks like. So really put that into your studying process as well. Don't neglect questions. This is one of the make or break things, in my opinion. Then going on to the third mistake I feel like I made in my first attempt of CTA was my attitude around revision. So again, revision didn't make me feel good. It scared the living hell out of me, and I wanted to feel good, and therefore I was not going to revise, especially for management accounting. It's management accounting, financial accounting. There's finance and there's accounting, especially for accounting. I did not revise. Closer to the exam, like a few days before, I'll be like, you know what, the information needs to marinate. I can't stress myself. Like, I need to take the information in. And this was a huge mistake, and I did it throughout the year. I mean, of course there's a balance, and there is a part of you that should be saying take a break, especially just before the exam, whether it's a day before or half a day. Some people even take 2 days, the weekend before you write. As much as you need to do that, you also need to revise, because this is so much information, and you can look at a principle, you can understand a principle 3 weeks ago, but you need to refresh your memory now. It doesn't mean like you're stupid or anything. It's just that's how brains work. You need to refresh your memory. It's part of long-term learning, and that is something I avoided, like with my whole body and spirit, and so I avoided it. I didn't want to do it. And this year I have come to peace with the fact that revision is part of the process and I cannot avoid it. My next mistake that I feel like I made in my first attempt of CTA is my excessive use of my cell phone. And you know what, if you're in this position where you use your cell phone a lot, I understand, especially because you don't go out as much as your friends might, or you're constantly in your bedroom studying, and your body kind of craves that dopamine dosage of nice things and seeing people and nice life and memes, and especially when you're working constantly. So I understand why this was a problem, but it's actually a very huge problem, considering the fact that if you had to now sit down, remove your phone from the situation, and look at the difference between your progress on a daily, it is huge. So I started incorporating this a few weeks back, and I'd have my phone off for the day. So from 8 a.m. until around 4 or 5, my phone would be off, or my phone wouldn't even be in the house. Like today, my phone is not even in the house. And like, okay, let's not count today, but like in other days, I would be so productive. Like normally with my phone in the house, I would finish around 9 o'clock. On a good day, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock was an early day. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock was like a normal day for me to finish studying. Obviously with breaks in between, obviously with dinner, with showering, etc. But just in general, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night was when I finished studying on the daily. That's a lot. You can't be cooped up for that long every single day. So when I remove my phone, I'm done by like 3 o'clock. A good day, 12, 1 o'clock, I'm done with something that I would have been done at 8 o'clock at night. So you can just see like where the quality of living is really affected by your cell phone. So definitely do something with that. I know it's not nice and you feel like it's not necessary, but it really is. It's necessary. Get rid of it. Mistake that I feel like I made in my first attempt of CTA was counting hours. To the point where I would Google how many, I mentioned this in my first video, I would Google like how many hours does a CTA student need to get done in a week to pass CTA. And I mean, even if you think of this logically, it's super subjective. One, we're not starting off on the same knowledge. We don't know what topics we struggle with to whoever put up those hours. So using that as a basis to see, okay, cool, I'm done for the day, does not make any sense whatsoever. But anyway, that was me. So yeah, I was Googling that, and there was someone that was like, no, 40 hours a week is good. And then I would go and I would divide how many hours I would do a day, and I would have like some sort of table schedule thing where I have a record of how many hours that I did this week, so that when I feel like I don't feel like doing any hours on Saturday, I can look back on all the hours I did in the week and be like, oh no, you know what, no, this week was a productive week. This week I can sleep today. This week was a productive week. huge mistake, huge mistake. Like so don't use hours as a basis to see how much you must do in a day, because it doesn't make sense. You can waste hours. Who tells you, how do you know those hours are going to be productive? So use something else, such as how many tasks you get done in a day, or how many principles you learn in a day, etc. Scratch out time. Don't even look at time. Look at time, okay, maybe to schedule out, or maybe if you want to see or have like kind of a feeling of, or an indication of what time you'll be done, maybe say, okay, this task takes me 2 hours, 3 hours. Be prudent with it, give it another hour in case, rather be done earlier than later if you want it for time management. But if it's a thing of, okay, I'm doing 5 hours a day, you never know how long it's going to take you to understand a principle, and the understanding of principle and being done with the topic should be what's important. On that as well, I also focused a lot on, and like an excessive obsession of, I want to finish this topic. And excessive obsession of finishing a topic does not mean you understand a topic. So I did it a lot with accounting, where I was just basically like, oh my gosh, I want to finish ICE 40, ICE 16, ICE 8, ICE 12 today. And I would push it, and I would, even because it was online last year as well, I would like speed up my lectures because it would feel good that I finished on my what's on my to-do list. And in reality, what a waste of time. Like, what was I thinking? And that's also something that I don't do at all this year, which is speed up my lectures, because that's when I know that, you know what, I'm wasting time by speeding this up, because I'm gonna have to come back anyway. So I'd rather take a break. I would rather you know, do something else, go take a walk, go make a cup of tea, rather than speed up a lecture. I made sure, so up till this point, I've been super disciplined when it comes to that compared to last year. Last year I used to speed up almost every lecture. Yeah, so don't look at time as a factor, rather look at the things you've done, the principles you've learned, and what you've really understood. And especially with online learning, like I mentioned, last year I would speed up lectures, where I understand it's unfortunate circumstances, but it's such a blessing to have your lecture live, or not live, uploaded or whatever, in front of you, where you can pause it and you can rewind it if you miss something, and you don't really have to struggle with a topic or a section by yourself, because you have it at your fingertips. Really use that to your advantage. And I'm really annoyed thinking back last year how I would speed it up instead of actually like using it as my study time. So I would literally speed up my lectures to get through them, then I'll go back to the same work that that lecturer was talking about, and I would want to cover that work that I could have covered with the lecturer as the lecturer was talking. So what I mean now, what I do now is, okay, I have like my notes open, and as the lecturer goes, I jot it into like 1-page summaries, and I like a proper, like if I miss something, I don't understand a principle, I don't understand a section, especially with tax, I'll go back, like with the lecturer, go back. He explains it super nicely. I write it out in his words, the way that I understand it. And then when I'm studying or revising the principles a bit later, sometimes the module doesn't even explain it as nice as the lecturer does. And you were fortunate enough to write it down the way the lecturer did. You just go back to those notes and be like, oh, okay, no, this is what they meant. Because sometimes the modules and the other textbooks and stuff, they just complicate things that are kind of simple. So yeah, that helps a lot. That can save you so much time, because in actual fact, you going over the lecture, doing nothing, scrolling on your phone, and then going through the notes again is so redundant. It's such a waste of time, especially with this whole online scenario, working from home. Use it to your advantage in that sense. And then the last thing I want to say and speak on is the same way that we need to train our bodies and to build some sort of tolerance to whatever exercising we're doing. I have personally experienced the same when it comes to studying. For example, if let's say you focus too much on the low active learning tasks, such as just watching a lecture. I'm talking about lectures where you don't have to, like I mentioned, 1-page summary and make notes, etc. Just the low lectures, let's say an audit lecture where they explaining something and you don't really have to write anything, and you're watching too much of those low active learning tasks can make your brain super duper lazy. So be sure to incorporate high active learning tasks as well, such as doing questions into your studying, such as active recall when it comes to the rules and principles that you've learned, the struggling type of studying, the studying where you're just like, oh my gosh, I want to die, but then later on you're so thankful that you did. Incorporate that and a mixture of it into your daily studying. Don't only focus on low studying tasks and leave, let's say, high studying tasks for the weekend, because likely chances are your brain is so used to getting those easy things done. When you get to the hard stuff, you're lazy, you're avoiding it, you're making excuses. So just like a muscle, you really need to keep your brain in shape with the hard stuff and build a tolerance with hard questions. Maybe even jot your questions, put them out in a day, like the hard questions first, get the hard questions done, then do the easy stuff later. How this is going to help is because you're going to go through that easy stuff like it's nothing. And most importantly, if someone throws a hard question at you, you're not going to have any resistance. You're going to be like, okay, cool. You're going to at least be able to attempt it because your brain is already into that pattern and the habit of doing hard things, unlike being lazy. And then finally, also have a strategy. Don't wing it like I did in my first attempt. Have a strategy, and whether it's a daily to-do list and let's do my lectures this day and do that, whatever it is, have a strategy, stick to it. Remember, your brain needs to be kept in shape. Don't spoil it too much with low active learning tasks, because then you're really going to struggle to get through those hard active learning things. You're going to come up with an excuse, you're going to leave it out too late, and then eventually you're not even going to do it. I really hope this video helped you guys, and I really hope studying is going well. I am going to try and post more content. Let me know what you want me to post, actually. And yeah, happy studying, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.